Right then, cars. Marvelous things, aren't they? They take us to the shops on holiday and sometimes just for a good old-fashioned Sunday drive. Germany, the maestro of refined horsepower and impeccable build quality. Think of it as a perfectly aged Riesling complex, sophisticated and reliably excellent. Then across the globe there's China, a whirlwind of technological innovation, especially in electric vehicles, a fascinating clash of automotive cultures and philosophies. When you pit two automotive powerhouses against each other, where do you begin? It's not just about speed. We need to look deeper. Technology, design, performance and market influence, German engineering versus Chinese innovation. It's a global showroom showdown. Right then, electric cars. They're all the rage, aren't they? Silent, zippy and supposedly saving the planet one electron at a time. Both Germany and China are diving headfirst into this electric pool. But, as you might expect, they're doing it in their own unique ways. The Germans, bless them, were perhaps a tad slow off the mark. Maybe they loved the smell of petrol a bit too much. Understandable, really. China, on the other hand, saw a colossal opportunity and grabbed it with both hands. They went for it like a greyhound, chasing a very fast electric rabbit. China's approach to electric vehicles has been nothing short of astonishing. The government there decided EVs were the future, and they threw everything at it. Billions in subsidies, that sort of thing. This has helped create giants in battery technology, like CATL and BYD, who now supply the whole world. Their enormous home market also means they can test and launch new electric models at a dizzying pace. You can get tiny, cheap electric runabouts or massive, blinged-out SUVs. It's a proper electric deluge, a veritable sea of new energy vehicles. Now, the Germans aren't ones to be left behind for long, are they? Their big established names, Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, are now properly in the EV game. They're bringing their decades of engineering know-how to the electric party. Their focus is often on the premium end of the market. Think beautifully crafted electric motors, sophisticated battery management systems, and that solid, reassuring German build quality. They want their EVs to be, well, perfectly engineered, just like their petrol cars. They're catching up and doing so with typical German thoroughness, but the way they innovate is a bit different too. The Chinese are often much bolder, much quicker to try new things. Battery swapping stations? Some Chinese companies are well into that. Super-duper fast charging that'll fill you up in minutes? They're on it. The Germans tend to be more cautious. They prefer to perfect the current lithium-ion battery technology, squeezing out every last bit of range and efficiency. For them, safety and making sure it all lasts for ages is absolutely key. It's a fascinating contrast in how to build the future of motoring. Next up, self-driving cars, the stuff of science fiction, or so we thought. Now everyone in the car world is racing to make it a reality. Imagine that, pottering down to the pub while the car does all the tricky driving bits. The Germans have been tinkering with this for years, of course. Their engineers, probably in very clean lab coats, have been meticulously working out how a car can drive itself without causing mayhem. Precision and safety are their watchwords. They want it to be absolutely positively foolproof before they let us all have a go. So when you look at German autonomous tech, it's all about steady progress. They're masters of what they call level 2 and level 3 autonomy. That means the car can do a lot, but you still need to pay attention. They use incredibly high-quality sensors, radar, LiDAR, the works. The software is rigorously tested, often on their famous autobahns, which is quite a demanding test track. They are aiming for systems that are incredibly reliable, almost boringly so, which for a car that drives itself is exactly what you want. No unexpected adventures, thank you very much. Then you have China. And as with EVs, they are moving at lightning speed in the autonomous driving race. They're not just testing on closed tracks. Oh no, they're using their incredibly busy, complex cities as giant real-world laboratories. Companies like Baidu, which is a bit like China's Google, alongside car makers such as XPeng and NIO, are pushing the technological envelope. They are gathering absolutely monumental amounts of driving data every single day. This data is like rocket fuel for the artificial intelligence that powers these systems. It's quite a bold strategy. This leads to different strengths. The Germans might have an edge in the sheer robustness and integrity of their individual systems, the underlying engineering. However, China is streaking ahead in deploying vehicle-to-everything or V2X communication. This allows cars to talk to each other and to the traffic lights and goodness knows what else. The Chinese government is also very keen to get this technology on the roads. So, it's a battle of meticulous, step-by-step German engineering versus China's incredibly fast, data-heavy, and state-supported sprint. It's anyone's guess who truly cracks it first. Section 3. Clever clogs on wheels, connectivity and cockpits. Modern cars are becoming less about oily bits and more about processing power. They're essentially smartphones on wheels. German cars have polished, intuitive systems like MBX or iDrive. Chinese cars, however, offer dazzling, feature-packed experiences. It's like comparing a traditional watch with a modern smartwatch. Aesthetics and first impressions. Let's talk about how these cars actually look. A car can have the cleverest engine, but if it looks bad, you're not going to want one. German car design is clean, crisp, and elegant. It's about evolution, not revolution. A new Golf looks like a Golf. A new 3 Series looks like a 3 Series. There's a quiet confidence in that. They murmur quality in a deep, authoritative voice. German cars often possess a timeless quality. A well-maintained German saloon from 10, even 20 years ago still looks smart. They focus on proportion, stance, and surface language. Smooth surfaces, precise panel gaps, and no unnecessary fuss. Design meant to last, to endure trends. The automotive equivalent of a well-tailored suit. Always appropriate, always looks good. Chinese car design is more exuberant. It's like a dazzling light show at a futuristic pop concert. Bold shapes, aggressive stances, and lots of experimentation. Complex LED signatures that animate and greet you. Grills that look like they could swallow a small hatchback. Design that wants to be noticed. Boldness translates into striking cars. Some might say a bit fussy, but you can't accuse them of being boring. Interiors are part of this expressive design. Big screens, ambient lighting, and design Easter eggs. They take risks, try something new. It's a rapidly evolving scene. It keeps things interesting. That's for sure. Section 2, from Bauhaus to bold strokes. Cultural imprints on design. German design, not just in cars, has deep roots in movements like the Bauhaus. Form follows function. It's about efficiency, clarity, and making things work exceptionally well, with the aesthetics naturally flowing from that functional excellence. There's a seriousness to it, a belief that good design is rational and purposeful. It's not just about making something pretty, it's about making it right from the inside out. This historical emphasis on engineering prowess and functional design means that German cars often communicate their capabilities through their looks. A powerful German sports saloon will have a subtle muscularity, a hint of its performance potential, without resorting to enormous spoilers or garish graphics. The build quality, the solidity you feel when you close the door, that's all part of the design philosophy. It's a holistic approach where every element is considered, every detail refined. Chinese car design, on the other hand, is shaped by a very different set of cultural and historical factors. China's automotive industry is much younger for a start. It doesn't have those long decades of established design language to either follow or rebel against. Instead, it's influenced by the country's incredibly rapid modernization, its embrace of digital technology, and a strong desire to project an image of innovation and progress to the world. There's a future-facing optimism that you can often see reflected in the car's styling, a sense of look what we can do now. This results in a design culture that's incredibly dynamic and perhaps less constrained by tradition. Chinese designers are often quick to adopt global trends, but they're also increasingly looking to incorporate elements of Chinese culture and aesthetics in new ways. You might see patterns inspired by traditional art or concepts that reflect philosophical ideas. There's also the sheer scale of the domestic market, which allows for a lot of diversity and niche designs. It's a melting pot of influences, leading to a vibrant and sometimes unpredictable design landscape, which is all rather exciting to watch unfold. Ultimately, car design is about selling cars. It's about making something that people want to own, something that makes them feel good. German manufacturers have, for a long time, targeted a global premium market. Their design language is often consistent across their model ranges and across different countries. A BMW should look like a BMW, whether you're in Berlin, Boston, or Beijing. This consistency builds brand identity and recognition. It also appeals to a certain type of buyer who values that established prestige, that sense of owning a piece of well-regarded engineering. The perceived quality and understated confidence of German design are key selling points. Buyers often associate it with durability, reliability, and a certain status. It's not usually about being the flashiest car on the road, but about conveying a message of discerning taste and an appreciation for fine engineering. This approach has served them very well for many decades, creating fiercely loyal customer bases around the world. They know their audience, and they design cars that resonate with that audience's aspirations and values, reinforcing that premium image with every new model released. Chinese car brands, initially focused heavily on their enormous home market, had different priorities. Value for money was often paramount, and design sometimes took a back seat to features and price. However, that's changed dramatically. Now, as Chinese brands look increasingly to export and compete on the world stage, design has become a major battleground. They are investing heavily in international design studios, hiring top talent from Europe and elsewhere, and aiming to create cars with genuine global appeal. They want their cars to be desirable, not just affordable. This means they are often trying to appeal to a broader range of tastes, or perhaps a younger, more tech-savvy demographic. The bold styling, the feature-packed interiors, the emphasis on connectivity, these are all designed to grab attention and create excitement. For many buyers, particularly those new to a brand, a striking design can be a powerful persuader. If a Chinese car can offer a more dramatic look and more gadgets than a comparably priced European or Japanese rival, that's a strong proposition. It's a clear signal of ambition and a changing of the guard in automotive aesthetics. Right then, performance. This is where the tyres meet the tarmac, isn't it? Germany has long been the king of performance. Legendary engines from smooth straight sixes to thundering V8s, cars that can munch miles on the Autobahn, a mechanical symphony, power ready to be unleashed, speed delivered with precision and solidity. Porsche 911 or BMW M car, engineered for driving pleasure. Now shift your gaze to China. The electric revolution is a huge catalyst. Electric motors deliver all their grunt instantly. New Chinese electric cars boast impressive acceleration, rapidly improving cornering, making things interesting. So they can go fast in a straight line. But what happens when the road gets a bit twisty, or when you encounter one of those dreaded potholes? This is where handling and ride comfort come into play. German manufacturers excel in making cars sporty, yet comfortable. It's a difficult balancing act. German cars achieve this through sophisticated suspension systems. They spend countless hours on test tracks like the Nürburgring. The steering is usually precise, the body control is typically excellent. It all adds up to a feeling of confidence and control. Now, what about the Chinese contenders? Ride comfort was often prioritized over sharp handling. Many Chinese EVs offer a very plush, absorbent ride. They can soak up poor road surfaces remarkably well. This focus on comfort makes sense for daily driving. It's a different set of priorities. However, Chinese car makers are catching up quickly. Many are now tuning their cars with global markets in mind. Some performance-oriented Chinese EVs are surprisingly agile. They might not yet have the ultimate finesse of the best German sports saloons. But the gap is closing much faster than many anticipated. They are learning and learning very, very quickly. Section 3, will it keep going? The all-important reliability riddle. Performance is one thing, but will your shiny new motor keep performing day in, day out, without bits falling off or expensive warning lights appearing on the dashboard? This brings us to reliability, a crucial factor for most car buyers. German cars have long enjoyed a reputation for being well-built and durable. German engineering became a byword for quality and dependability. You bought a German car and you expected it to last, to feel solid, and to generally work as intended for many years. That was the promise anyway. This reputation was built on a foundation of meticulous engineering, high-quality materials, and rigorous testing. Think of those old Mercedes taxis you see in far-flung corners of the world, still going strong with 1,000,000 kilometers on the clock. While modern German cars are vastly more complex, packed with electronics and advanced systems, the core philosophy of building things properly still largely remains. However, this complexity can sometimes be a double-edged sword, with more things that could potentially go wrong, leading to some grumbles about the reliability of certain newer, highly advanced models. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: the perceived reliability of Chinese cars. For many years, there was a definite skepticism, and sometimes for good reason. Early Chinese exports occasionally suffered from quality issues and didn't always inspire long-term confidence. However, to judge today's Chinese cars by those outdated perceptions would be a massive mistake. The transformation in build quality and increasingly reliability has been nothing short of revolutionary. Major Chinese brands have invested colossal sums in research, development, and state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, often poaching top engineering talent from established global automakers. The result is that new Chinese cars are often far better put together than many people expect. Global quality surveys are starting to reflect this, with some Chinese brands now outperforming established Western and Japanese names in reliability rankings. For electric vehicles in particular, the simpler mechanicals can mean fewer traditional points of failure, although battery longevity and software stability are new areas of concern for all EV makers. The Chinese are also very focused on software, and over-the-air updates can fix bugs and even improve car performance remotely, which is a new dimension to the reliability game. The tide is definitely turning. Section 1, the global showroom. Who's selling what? Where? Right, market influence. This is where things get properly feisty. It's not enough to just build a good car, you've got to sell the thing. And sell it to people all over the world if you're a big player. German car makers, well, they've been at this global game for donkey's years. Brands like Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Audi are household names pretty much everywhere. You can drive from the tip of South America to the frozen north of Canada, and you'll see their badges dotted along the roads. Their presence is truly global, built on decades of exporting their engineering prowess and carefully cultivated image. This established global footprint is a massive advantage for the Germans. They have networks of dealerships, service centers, and a deep understanding of what different markets want, or at least what they think different markets want. They've spent years tailoring models for specific regions, maybe a slightly softer suspension for bumpy American roads, or different engine choices depending on local fuel prices and emissions rules. It's a complex operation, a well-oiled machine designed to get their cars into as many driveways as possible, from Munich to Melbourne and everywhere in between. It's a testament to their long-term vision and consistent quality over many, many years. Now, what about China? For a long time, their car industry was mostly about, well, China. And that's fair enough, given it's the biggest car market on the planet by a country mile. They were busy satisfying the colossal domestic demand. But things are changing, and changing rapidly. Chinese brands are now looking outwards with serious intent. They're not just dipping a toe in the water anymore, they're launching full-scale export campaigns. You're starting to see brands like MG, now Chinese-owned, of course, BYD, Geely, and Great Wall Motors popping up in Europe, Southeast Asia, South America, and even Australia. This expansion is being driven by several things. Firstly, the sheer quality and appeal of their latest cars, especially electric ones, are now good enough to compete internationally. Secondly, they often offer a lot of car and a lot of technology for the money, which is always tempting. And thirdly, there's a huge ambition to become global automotive leaders. They are learning fast about how to sell cars in different cultures, adapting their marketing and building their brand presence brick by brick. It's a bit like watching a new supermarket chain arrive in town full of unfamiliar but intriguing products, ready to shake things up. Section 2. What we want, what we really, really want. Consumer cravings and brand love. What makes us choose one car over another? For German cars, it's brand loyalty and prestige. Owning one suggests quality and success. This image is built over generations. Chinese cars, however, offer value and tech to win customers. They appeal to a younger, tech-focused demographic. Bold designs help them stand out. The car industry is a massive economic engine. Germany's automotive sector is a cornerstone of its economy. The success of their car brands impacts the country's prosperity. There's pressure to maintain market share and profitability. The economic stakes are incredibly high. The German government and EU support this vital industry. However, they face challenges. High labor costs make it harder to compete. The shift to EVs means retooling factories and retraining workforces. They are navigating a tricky path. It's a balancing act of monumental proportions. China's automotive industry benefits from enormous economies of scale. This allows manufacturers to produce cars at a lower cost. The Chinese government fosters growth through subsidies and policies. State support enables rapid production and innovation. Chinese brands are expanding globally. They enter new markets with competitive pricing. China's dominance in the battery supply chain gives an edge. Scale, cost advantages, and government backing make China a powerful force. It's about influencing the entire direction of the automotive world. Germany and cars, it's a long story, a very long one in fact. It all started way back. Think late 1800s, chaps like Carl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler. They were the pioneers, you see, proper inventors fiddling with engines. They weren't just building contraptions, they were making the first real motor cars. Imagine that, the birth of the automobile. And Germany was its nursery. Quite something, really, to be there at the very beginning of it all. As the years rolled on into the early 20th century, more names appeared. Hawk, Audi, Wanderer, DKW, they eventually became Audi. BMW started with aero engines. The industry grew, but then, well, wars happened. Not brilliant for car making, as you can imagine. Factories got bombed, resources became scarce. But out of that rubble, a focus on robust engineering really took hold. Think of the Volkswagen Beetle, a simple, tough car for the people. It became an icon of post-war recovery, a little beetle that conquered the world slowly but surely. Then came Germany's Wirtschaftswunder, the economic miracle. Suddenly, people had money and they wanted cars. German manufacturers were ready. Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Volkswagen ramped up production. They started exporting and the world discovered German quality. That solid feel, the reliable engines, the sense that these cars were built to last, to drive on those new autobahns without breaking a sweat. This was when the reputation for precision engineering really cemented itself globally, a true mark of distinction. Through the latter half of the 20th century, German car makers didn't just rest on their laurels. Oh no, they consolidated their position. They became masters of the luxury saloon, the sporty coupe, the sensible hatchback. They kept innovating. Anti-lock brakes, airbags, sophisticated electronics, much of it came from German drawing boards. They set the benchmarks that others aimed for. This relentless pursuit of excellence, this deep engineering heritage, built the foundations for the automotive powerhouse we know today. It's a legacy carved in steel and innovation. Now, China's car story is a bit different and much, much shorter, relatively speaking. For a long time, if you were an ordinary person in China, owning a car was just a dream. The industry was small, mostly state-run. It focused on making trucks, buses, and very basic cars for official use. Think sturdy, no-nonsense vehicles, often based on older Soviet designs, truth be told. Private car ownership was incredibly rare. The bicycle was king. The automotive revolution that swept the West largely passed China by for many decades. Things started to change in the late 1970s and 80s. China began opening up to the world, and they realized they needed a proper car industry, so they invited foreign companies in. Volkswagen was one of the first, setting up joint ventures. This was a clever move. It meant Chinese workers and engineers could learn from the established giants. Technology was transferred. Manufacturing skills were developed. It was like a massive apprenticeship for an entire nation's automotive ambitions. A crucial period of learning the ropes from those who had been doing it for ages. Then, in the 21st century, things really took off. The Chinese economy boomed. Millions of people suddenly wanted cars. The domestic market became absolutely enormous, the biggest in the world, and Chinese car brands started to emerge, proper domestic players. Initially, yes, some of their designs were a bit, shall we say, derivative, a bit inspired by other cars, but they learned incredibly fast. Quality improved, ambition grew. The government also gave the industry a massive push, wanting to create national champions on four wheels. And that brings us to the electric vehicle boom. This is where China truly decided to leapfrog the competition. They saw the future was electric, and they went for it. Big time, huge government investment, massive support for battery companies like CATL and BYD. Charging infrastructure rolled out at astonishing speed. Now, Chinese brands are world leaders in EV production and technology. They're not just copying anymore, they're innovating. And they're looking to export these clever electric cars all over the globe, from a slow start to a global EV force. Quite the journey, eh? So there we have it, a proper look at two automotive titans, Germany and China, from Bavaria's engineering to Shenzhen's tech. It's a fascinating contrast. Germany's precision versus China's innovation, both are reshaping the future of cars. Who will lead the next automotive era? Only time will tell. What does the future hold for automotive adversaries? It's going to be electric and clever. China will push EV technology with longer ranges and faster charging. Germany will leverage engineering prowess for premium electric cars. Autonomous driving is another big battlefield. This competition drives innovation and gives us better cars. Exciting times ahead.